that's the excitement of it. I think that's the excitement of it. But more importantly is this. You know, we had a lot of talk early on about crossing the bridge to the 21st century. And if you read almost every critique of the American education system, including Democracy at Risk, it'll start out by telling you that we have a system that's based on an industrial, agrarian pattern, and yada, yada, yada. You all know the line, right? This isn't a place for kids to learn. But the fact of the matter is, schools aren't even based on an industrial or agrarian pattern anymore, because that's not how we farm and that's not how we create goods and services in this country. The schools have slipped. The industrial pattern and the agriculture pattern have moved past today's schools. And so what's the hope? When I saw Bernie put up the oracle, the 3 times 7, one of the things the speaker had us do was to go sit down and talk to the rock stars, if you will, of high tech and biotech at Stanford University for a morning. And the bargain was we would listen and they would come and talk to us. We held up our listening side. We didn't talk at all. But it's interesting when we talked about how do we take those industries to the future, it was all education-based. Most important thing we could do is elementary, secondary education. But when they talked about the employees that they wanted, they talked about an employee who could work across their company, across the country, and across the continents with the most diverse workforce in the history of the world to assemble and solve emergent problems. And to do that for the most diverse customer base in the history of the world. Sounds like 3 times 7. I didn't know that at the time, but when I saw it come up, I said, this is exactly what we were told. It does not sound like the skills that we're putting emphasis on in the current school system. And it doesn't sound like, there was an article the other day, I don't know which company it was, whether it was Google or Oracle, but it was about, in the Wall Street Journal, about trolling the world for young people who have these assets. No longer are you limited to California, New York, the United States. You troll the world to find people with those assets, and you grab them, and they can work across the company, the country, and the continents. That's the challenge. Now we have a second challenge, and that's what Democracy at Risk is about. We also want them to be able to shoulder and absorb and carry the burdens of democracy in a very diverse society, and that's hard work. We want them to be citizens. We're trying to figure out a place where they can work and support their families and contribute to the economy. They also must be citizens. And that's your challenge. So figure it out. I'm done. Thank you very much for letting me be
here. If she's your brain, what was that? Thank you so much for your really wonderful almost invocation, Congressman. Your leadership on kids issues has been remarkable.